Our problem of practice is differentiated instruction and inclusivity of SPED and EL students in the classroom. There are many different solutions for this, and we will provide multiple approaches to combat this problem of practice. The first way to combat the lack of differentiation for EL and SPED students is to consider the information processing theory. This theory states that the human brain is processing information like a computer based on stimuli around us, taking in signals or the input and resulting in an output or behavior. If we understand the different types of memory and how the mind works, we can determine the best teaching strategies to reach all students regardless of abilities and level. The second way is to consider the zone of proximal development. According to Vygotsky, the zone of proximal development is the distance between the actual development level as determined by independent problem solving and the level of potential development as determined through problem solving under adult guidance or in collaboration with more capable peers. If we are able to hold students to high standards of learning, but differentiate the means of instruction through scaffolding, we can create equity of learning within the classroom. Scaffolds include setting goals, building vocabulary using sentence stems, and pairing students with others based on skill and prior knowledge.
Differentiation is a concept rooted in many learning theories. The learning theory that I will be focusing on is Piaget's constructivism theory. It explains that children are very active in their learning environment and form a schema that helps them internalize their actions. A differentiated classroom is a classroom filled with students who have different needs, come from different educational backgrounds, have different attention spans and interests, different language abilities, and different cultural backgrounds. With this variety of background that our students come into the classroom with, it is necessary to look at the 4 stages that Piaget talks about in his theory. Our students come from variety stages of learning as well as background, especially our SPED and EL students, and thus differentiation is a great way to bridge those stages. The 4 stages in Piaget's theory help teachers to understand what stage your students are in. Further, these 4 stages provide us with examples of what and how children think about their environment. We will see children at varying stages throughout our profession. The last concept I will talk about from Piaget's work is that of accommodation, assimilation, and equilibrium. Students must learn through experience in order to not fall into the assimilation category or be in danger of staying there. This can be achieved through utilization of small groups using multimodal learning. Since students are building on their further prior knowledge.
It is important to mention how assessments should be changed. 2001 was a significant year where the U.S. government signed the No Child Left Behind Act with the attempt to leave no child left behind. However, it left behind students' authenticity and uniqueness. It is very important that all stakeholders of education consider the notable issue with standardized testing. Standardized testing does not offer any type of differentiation, as it is a one-size-fits-all hat that tries to fit on every student's head. Instead of spending lots of money creating generic tests, more money should be spent finding different ways and options to differentiate assessments. Specifically, offering the ability for EL and SPED students to showcase their talents, such as projects that can involve schools, families, and communities.
Part of the reason that differentiated instruction is necessary is because students fall behind in their education. One of the main reasons this happens is because students are living in poverty. We can see this daily in our Zoom classrooms. Some students do not have access to good internet, a quiet workspace, or even adequate nutrition. They live in stressed homes where parents are working 2 jobs or do not even have a job. As such, we must work as educators to combat poverty. Freire writes, to surmount situations of oppression, people must first critically recognize its causes, so that through transforming action, they can create a new situation. As such, students who are behind in their education due to poverty must be made aware of these systems of oppression. We must work as educators to develop a pedagogy that equips students to combat their own oppression.